T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Welcome to the Trap Talk Reptile Podcast. This is episode 320. I'm your boy MJ, and of course, next to me is the legendary Dave Levison from Dave's Herp House, guys.
I don't even know if it's her house.
I mean,
Don't advertise that way. That's a joke.
guys, listen, if this is your first time tapping in, please do your boy a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're on top of every piece of reptile content that we come out here on this channel, man. But man, thank you so much for tapping in. I gotta say, NARBC pre-party time. Here we are again. Dave, how do you feel?
Well, good, man. I really enjoyed last time. I'm just hoping we get some people over here.
So
man, it's
there's no secret chocolates on the table.
Nope.
Just so you know, everything is well out there.
sober
Days. Man, okay. Let's catch up to people. How you been, Dave? What's going on? I mean, obviously you're somebody who's very accustomed of going from shows that are relevant to what you need to do. I mean, you go on the West Coast, but here we are at Tinley. How do you feel about vending tomorrow, man? Let's talk about it.
Well, I like what I brought with. Tinley always has a good crowd, so I always expect to do well, and if I don't, I blame myself.
Well, I mean, I got to say, for being a veteran, Dave, for anyone who's vending here for the first time and have high expectations and they zero, like goose egg, what is that supposed to mentally do to them? Do they let it go? Or, I mean, how does somebody look at something like that and turn it into a positive? Just for any advice out there for any new vendors that are hitting Tinley, because I saw a couple newbies. So
How about this? I have made $0 at Tinley before.
Okay.
I've lost money at a Tinley. I've lost money in Arlington. But some of the best shows I do are also NARBC. So you take the good with the bad. Can't judge it on one show.
I got to ask you this. What does it do to you to have a table full of very highly respected boas, but you're at a show where it's not too many boas? I mean, you, Vin, a couple other, John Cashman, a couple really cool boa guys out there, but I don't know, man. Why do people have problems with the ball pythons being everywhere at a Tinley? I feel like that's a complaint I hear.
Well,
Does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
I like a competitive market. I like a lot of people in a species because it gets different eyes and different perspectives. There's certain pairings I never would have thought about doing that are being done now. They're making some of the best animals in the hobby. So more the merrier, because we need more people's ideas in front of us to create our own ideas. As for the boa thing, you got to give the boa credit for the Tinley show. You don't remember Boa Island, do you? Boa Alley?
No.
The boa community loves each other so much we requested to have every single breeder in the building in the same aisle together. No
Wow.
competition, no nothing. We all just wanted to be around each other.
So that's the exact opposite of the ball python game.
Yeah, so we are, but but the ball python community, the thing is that there's a lot of small communities within a bigger community.
Right.
So where, like you said, with boas, there's not as many of us. It's a tighter community.
I mean, let's be real, Dave. One thing I love about you, even though people would think, only because how funny you are, but like, how's professional Dave? Dave's actually very professional. Trust me. I've had moments where I'm like, Dave, tell how you feel, buddy, and you keep it together. Respect to you. But I got to tell you, go ahead. Did you want to say that?
No, I didn't want to say shit. I just want to make sure I'm close enough.
But listen, as everything in life, as humans, there's drama. Why is all the drama from the ball python community?
Well, you want to know why?
And I'm talking about from the higher up to the bottom levels, bro. There's always something. And please tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, what about the drama in the gecko community? You want to talk about that? Or you want to talk about the drama in the monitor community? The reality is, when you have conflicting personalities in a community, and sometimes maybe some people are too competitive, I think it creates drama.
Right.
For ball python drama, the thing is when 80% of the people in the world are probably working with ball pythons, you're going to see more things happen.
Because we're naturally competitive.
Yeah, we are naturally. And like I said, it's a very cutthroat market, a very highly competitive market. It always has been.
Yeah. I mean, but you don't feel like that in the boa industry?
I feel less of that. I mean, to tell you the truth, I really don't feel a competition in the ball python industry. With me, if you came to my table needing something, if I didn't have it, I'm not going to bullshit you to make you buy something else that I got.
Right.
I'll tell you who you need to go talk to, because that's who I want to buy that animal from.
Yeah.
I don't really see competition in this. I think there's enough for everybody to go around and do well. Like I said, I think a little differently, though. I might be too much of a hippie about this whole thing, but
Right.
I love the drama sometimes. I like the behind the scenes drama. You know me, I don't do public drama.
Right.
But I got my little behind the scenes shit. I send you my memes. 3 people get to see them.
Your memes are second to none, buddy.
Yeah, but nobody gets to see them. 4 people, 5 people.
I've shared I've shared a couple to
I'll never
my...
send you another one.
No, dude, they're Patreon members. They're my family, dog. They
Okay.
think it's great.
If somebody sends me one of my memes, I'm cutting you off.
It wasn't actually a meme. It was your pose in the orange onesie.
Oh, that thing? Oh man, my dick flipped up. Okay, that's cool, man. I guess I'm into that. I mean, if I'm gonna take that picture, it's got to get circulated.
Let me ask you one thing, Dave. For anybody out here, because listen, at the end of the day, we got to give props to the ball python game altogether, because it's the biggest introductory for any snake guy like myself, right? But for somebody to actually be so curious on the best move into the boa game, okay? Because it's hard for me to explain to somebody where to start with ball pythons, right? But at the end of the day, is finding what you want to work with is the same fucking thing with ball pythons compared to boas, or how does somebody find out what it is that they're passionate about if they want to work with boas, but they've never worked with anything?
Okay, so here's the thing with boas. Have you ever handled a boa?
Love it. Muscular.
You say musty?
Muscular.
Yeah,
Muscular.
I like inquisitive species. I like animals that interact with you. I'm not saying ball pythons don't interact, but it is a very cautious, scared species. You got to let them come into their own. So when it comes to the overall handling of that, I don't really like handling a ball python. I do enjoy the species. I work with it. This is going to sound awful. I enjoy the artistry.
Right.
It's a color palette bigger than any other color palette we have in any other species. So it's infinite. And that's what I like about it.
Well, I mean, we're not going to touch too much on this because Dave just told me, guys, look forward to this, because there is quite a bit of a showdown regarding why ball pythons are stupid because of the RHACS systems. Studies show
I want to talk about that still.
Listen, is that the same thing as boas? What's going on? Like, how is this being even thought about when we know that these animals shed good, they eat good, everything that looks like accordingly? I don't understand what the difference in behavior is by them being in RHACS, and I don't understand the studies. I don't.
All right. Well, I made a comment the other day, and I kind of want to say it out loud because I thought it was kind of clever, but it could be retarded. So in the industry, when you hear about farming, you think about imported animals. You think about farmed animals out of the wild.
Right.
Farming, in some people's, when you say farmed animals and reptiles, it's a dirty phrase to people. But if you think about it, we're all farmers. We found a way to industrialize what we're doing with rack systems and cages, And that's what we're doing. We found a more efficient way of making a chicken egg. Not that it's, but we had this discussion last time.
Right.
A ball python can live in a cage. A ball python can live in a tank. It does thrive in a rack.
Right.
They just seem to be happier in there. They do well. They eat. They seem, you know what happens? Remember Vin was talking about this?
Right.
Put a ball python in a 6-foot enclosure with a 6-quart container in there, and the thing's going to live in the 6-quart container.
Yeah.
So really, when it comes to what might be an objective about keeping them in those smaller environments is not keeping up with the maintenance, making them sit in their own filth. That's where I'm not a big fan of that. So to tell you the truth, I like using a CB70 for adult ball pythons, even if they're small.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of comes down to the keeper. I mean, the keeper pays attention to things. I mean, I gotta be honest, Dave. The reason why I'm so goddamn kind of pretty confident about this ball python thing, because we all know you put a monitor, you put a bell lace monitor in a rack system, or even a mainland reticulated python. I mean, look what does a retic do? It shoves its face to pieces, literally, if it's over it, right? Ball pythons don't show any of those signs, man. And the biggest thing is, the biggest push that we're getting behind this are for people who are getting into snakes for the very first time. So who the hell wants to buy a snake? Who's this? We can't randomly bring people. Who's this?
That's Jeff Byers. He's been in the hobby longer than us. He works with Mike Wilbanks.
Time out. I know. Time out. We got a timeout right now.
Hey, but if I call him over, trust.
I know, but you did this last time, and I was
And they were
very
all
skeptical.
perfect. They were
No,
all
they
perfect.
were not. No.
Yeah, just that one
No.
guy.
Give me
who
a
I
couple
did-
minutes, buddy.
Yeah, you just stay tight, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'll get him to warm up to you, buddy.
And this is nothing against Jeff. It's because his rap sheet.
I wouldn't
of the
invite him
la-
over. I'm not even drunk right now.
No, hey, I'm not Jeff, buddy. And I know it's not you either, but I want a couple minutes, and we'll be all right.
No, we'll keep going.
All right.
I just want him on standby so I can stare at him while
Yeah,
we talk.
please hang out, buddy. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
you
No,
gotta do
you're
you.
good. You're good.
Yeah, because MJ doesn't really want you.
No, dude. This is a Chad Grey Reptile episode. You know that, right? So we're waiting for Chad.
Yeah,
He's
we're
late. He's late. He's coming up.
Yeah.
But that's why I really need you here. But go back to what I was saying is like, listen, I do have a great understanding and appreciation for the pet keeper side of the industry because God bless them. You want to put that much work into keeping something that big, you're going to have to do some fucking brain power behind it, meaning find out how humidity, you got to get the humidity right. Like you have to do some adjustments, meaning you're going to have a lot of stuck sheds. You're going to have a lot of fucking things that ball pythons won't put you through if you just put it in a fucking rack. Okay. And the guy, tell you that the guy from UK, and honestly, respect to this guy's passion on putting a lot of work behind this, but at the end of the day, his biggest concern isn't coming off his own experience. He doesn't keep ball pythons himself. He doesn't like this is based off. This is an outer person looking in, but he works at a pet store. And I don't know. Like I said, I know you, Dave. Ball pythons is a huge foundation to where you're at today. Am I right or wrong? I mean,
well, I still think that boas, to tell you the truth,
what's your main one? Obviously,
it's my crucial years.
that's the bread and butter.
But ball pythons now, I mean, again, with the death of Ben helping out with this collection, ball pythons were always my thing, but they became my thing on steroids when I went to that. I've always had them. Now there's thousands. So it was a big jump. But no, boas have always been the passion, though. Boas, I feel, have made me have my best steps forward.
I got to get your thoughts because one of my biggest trending episodes right now on Apple Podcasts. Please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Vin Russo, man, holy shit! I don't know what was it about that episode. I mean, you've totally mentioned to me before that you've had Vin on your podcast doing no promoting, no nothing, and still cleared over 2K listens. You know, the Apple Podcast is at 13K downloads, man. Like, holy shit, that's huge. That's one of my biggest episodes of the year. What was it about that? You think?
Well, here's the thing. I think he is a staple in the hobby. Been in it for over 20 years. And not only that, at the end of the episode, we started talking about his bonsai, his guitar playing. The thing is where in our hobby, we think he's the most popular guy in the world. Same way in the bonsai community, and they don't overlap for him. So if somebody's looking up his name from that community, they might have listened to our podcast about reptiles. That's the reality of things.
That's connecting.
Yeah, I think when Vin talks, he says things that people want to hear because he's very knowledgeable.
Right.
I could talk to Vin all day long.
Right.
So I think that's all it is he brings a certain knowledge to the table that people appreciate.
And think about how many people are good at so many multiple things. Dave, Herp House should be your name because you are a fucking real herper, Dave.
I do like going
Mind you,
outside.
man, you have an iconic profile pic of you holding a snapping turtle. God damn, were you sexy, man. I'm talking like waxed out. Like it was perfect. But that was like, dude, this guy is just not the tip. Like he's not a Miguel Garcia. I love you, Miguel, but that's not what this guy is. He's not your fucking just, Oh, another ball python guy on his way to the top. No, you got a lot more going on for you, Dave, and respect to you, buddy.
Well, I just like the whole hobby.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it. Like, I honestly, I'm always surprised when I talk to a reptile guy who doesn't go out and try to find a snake.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a lot of aspects about it. You don't have to be a complete guy, but if you love caring for them in your house, you should love finding them outside, in my opinion.
I agree. Let me ask you this. What do you know about Chad Grey? Because I got to tell you.
I don't know shit about Chad Grey.
That's
until
great.
I see him.
That is fucking crazy.
Until I
Because
see him.
Chad Grey is somebody who I've only met at Tinley, and I've asked him to come on my show multiple times. He refuses. And finally, he's like, MJ, you want me to go on your show? It's going to be at a Tinley when I've had a few drinks at me. Then I'll sit down with you because then I feel comfortable. So he's coming straight from a dinner right now off I don't know how many drinks, but he feels comfortable sitting down with me. But I got to tell you, man, Chad Grey, who's worked with Bowens, Timor Pythons, I'm really surprised you don't know more about Chad Grey. That's surprising.
So here's the thing, and I'm sure he's not going to listen to this. The moment I see him, for all I know, I might have had a conversation with him before, and it probably was a great conversation.
Right.
But I drink a lot too.
And you eat things that you don't know what they are sometimes.
I'm trusting. I'm very trusting, buddy. When people put candy in my mouth, I just trust them.
What are your oh, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, we got our first guest. Not you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Sit down. It's Chad Holker. Chad, sit down right now. Let's go.
By the way,
This guy thought it was him. I'm just kidding. I love you.
you pointed right at him.
Hold on,
You
this
pointed
is
right at him.
Guys, listen. I have what's behind me, Chad Holker, and Chad Holker. Show your chest.
Oh,
come on.
I'm covered in Chad, buddy.
Chad's here
Chad
too.
shirt, Chad tattoos. When you said Chad was on the podcast, I just assumed it had to be this Chad. There's no other Chad.
I'm having a hard time matching y'all's energy right now.
I got no energy. I'm faking it.
Man,
He didn't sleep last night.
I didn't either.
Yeah. Chad Holker, thank you for sitting down with us. How you doing,
Yeah,
buddy?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All set
excited.
All set up for
I'm
Tinley.
set up and ready. I'm going to be there bright and early.
Yeah. Well, what's bright and early? Okay, for any
Like
vendor out there.
5 minutes before customers come in.
Damn.
Oh, wait. Well, the VIP hour is customers now, buddy. So 7?
No, I will not be there at 7 o'clock.
Wait, VIP's for 7 now?
They don't get in there at 7.
Whatever time the vendors are allowed in, VIPs are allowed in
at
1 minute.
7 a.m.
People who are there to spend money before the crowd comes in.
Chad, wait, for anyone out there, Chad, concerned about a recession, is Chad Holker still selling snakes?
Yeah, I'm still selling snakes.
Right.
It's not like gangbusters, but like it's moving. It shows, for me, shows are much better at sales than like online right now. Like online, it's a 50,000 snakes for sale. It's a little hard to sell those online, well, MORPH market specifically. But if you use your social media and you advertise and you represent your animals good, I don't know. I mean, it depends on what you have. Like if you have just a bunch of regular stuff that everybody else has, it's going to be a little tougher. If you have something that's unique and it's desirable right now or hot at the moment, it's going to sell. If you price your animals competitively, they're going to move.
What's one thing at your table that you feel like should be noticed? Like, what is something that you wish the most passionate ball python person would pick up at your show?
Dude, I know like there's a lot of them out there, but DG Clown stuff for me right now, I'm still super geeked on it and hitting new combos with that. Like that's what I'm excited about. So I have a couple available at the show this weekend, and then I have a couple clutches in the incubator already to make more visuals. So I don't know, that's what I'm excited about now. A lot of projects though, but right now that's what's visually appealing to me.
Yeah. Your features appeal to me, but your energy is really whack right now. So I have.
Don't you fucking talk to Chad like that, buddy.
Relax,
Chad
dude.
can be however the fuck he wants.
I have a wrap-up question for you, Chad. Yeah. And that was a joke, by the way. We love Chad. What's your opinion out there for anything that you feel is being priced less than what's at your table? Because I'm also noticing that there are people coming to the show with an expectation to price something, but then homeboy a couple tables down is like slashing it. Like, do you slash it yourself, or do you keep that price? Only coming from a veteran.
You don't have to be the cheapest price. If you have animals that are really good quality, that speaks for itself sometimes. But at the same time, like if you have your animals 50% higher than somebody else that has equal value, or equal quality, I wouldn't expect to sell it. It's just going to sit. Like it's pricing right now is competitive, and I wouldn't say it's like cutthroat, but it's kind of cutthroat, to be honest.
I mean, we were talking about that earlier. Like, as much as things want to be like, fair, we're human, man. Like at the end of the day, what we work with, we want to be the best at it.
For sure. Yeah.
So we got to learn how to adapt.
You do have to learn how to adapt. And pricing right now is that's where the challenge is. I think the market's adjusting itself. And I don't know if your audience members were around before COVID, like the older guys understand. Understand that prices before COVID were nowhere near what they were throughout COVID as they built up and got overpriced almost. So I think things are just coming down to where they were.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
The demand became so high during COVID, prices went up because of it. That was it.
It's not phased by it one bit.
So one thing going around right now is it's the time to buy. In a sense.
Yeah.
You can make deals. You can make deals of a lifetime.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a better time to buy now than it was. The availability is better. The pricing is better.
Yeah. I just said hi to Chad Brown right now. That was pretty epic. Okay, I know I just asked you a question, but I got to ask you one last thing.
Sure.
How do you, Chad? I don't know if it's because of Dave or your relationships with all the OGs in the game, but how do you not feel like you're being a part of a rat race in the ball python game?
Just because
you don't
I'm
seem
patient.
desperate, buddy.
I'm
you
not.
Don't seem desperate,
I'm patient. Man. But then again, I'll say this: I don't do this for a living. I don't depend on this income to pay my house payment. So
that's huge.
It is, but at the same time, I have a lot invested in this, like everybody else. I spend a lot of time. I spend a lot of money traveling and taking care of my collection. I do have to make money on it to at least break even at a minimum, but I'm still profiting every month. So,
well, listen, Chad, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
the first Chad coming in, and now we got the main Chad of the hour. Thank you so much. I appreciate Chad Holkers, ladies and gentlemen. Holkers Horps.
Hey, Chad.
On Instagram.
Hey, boss.
And be ready for the main event. Here we go.
I need a little pick me up.
And he's here.
So fucking sexy, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Chad Grey of Chad Grey Reptiles. Finally, Chad, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, buddy? How you doing?
How's your dinner, man?
It's wonderful.
Dude, thank you for being here. Dave has no idea who you are. Is that true or false?
I don't know. I'm Dave.
Chad. Holy shit.
Good to meet you, bud.
So listen, two iconic Tinley guys who don't know each other. I guess the world's not as small as you think.
You're a straight guy, right?
I am.
Why the fuck would I know this guy?
And I'm much better looking than his other friend, Chad.
Oh, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah. He ain't missing, man. But listen, Chad, what an honor to have you here finally, Tinley weekend. How you living, man? First and foremost, how you feeling about this weekend?
It's good. I'm looking forward to it.
How many Tinleys have you been at so far?
20.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Damn.
20.
And I want to tell the people how I even really kind of became a fan of your work. You have a Timor python that kind of gave me the gateway into even finding out and geeking over Timors, but it goes a lot more than the Timors, man. I mean, you have an iconic picture of a Bowens, which I'm concerned that you worked with Bowens. I mean, why don't you let the people out there know everything that you work with now and stuff that maybe you're still passionate about, if you don't mind, just so people got the idea.
Mostly I work with a lot of pythons and some boas. Bowens pythons, Angolans pythons, blackheads, womas, Moluccan scrubs, and then we've got Madagascar tree boas, BCI, BCC, BCA, BCO, and a few gecko species we keep for fun. So,
you list those off like it's nothing.
I know, right?
It's like and out of all the python, or excuse me, out of all the species you listed, how many of those have you bred? Everything?
Everything but the Bowens. I've tried, and
I mean, why not? Why not dip into it, Dave? The
Who is
Bowens.
it? What's the German father and son? Is it something like Hans? A very typical German name. The ones that are very successful with Bowen pythons.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Hunter, they've literally produced them 4 or 5 years in a row now. They do a drop down in temperature by opening up the windows at night. They've just been cycling them that way, and every year they breed for them.
Really?
Yeah, they've been dropping down to like the 50s at night, maybe the 40s, and then bringing it back up there in the daytime a little bit. And through that cycling, they've had a lot of success.
Wow. So I've been able to get mine as low as 58, but where I'm at and in the location and the way they're set up in my house, I can't get under 58 degrees. I've tried, can't get it. I've even got them in one of my rooms that the entire outer wall is concrete. Still can't get them lower than 58.
Yeah.
So, but I've tried. I've had many copulations. I had a false ovulation. Just curled up like a tire, got in their nest box, didn't eat, didn't move. I'm like, I got it. I'm golden. Nothing. 2 months later, starts eating again. No pre-lay shed. Nothing. Weird. So,
do you do ultrasounding at all?
No.
I don't like I don't like it, but I kind of like it as a little bit of a crutch. Like with boas, I start my season by checking them, and then 3 months later I check them again to see if I'm wasting my time.
Right.
So, but other than that, I don't like that weekly or monthly. I'm like really sporadic because I don't want to depend on it. I want to focus on the animals.
Right.
I mean, as far as chemistry, right? I mean, obviously there are certain things that you look for behavior, and that gives you the good sign and bad sign. But you guys both work with boas, and I can't get enough of this. But what are some things with boas that tell you like this ain't gonna work this year? You know, because a lot of people could have multiple females, but maybe only have one male. They could be potentially wasting their time a long time for this one project to go down, but it's just not happening. Like, what are behaviors you guys look for?
I mostly see no interest from the female. I'll see a male try to court, the female have nothing to do with it, shove him off.
Go the opposite way.
Absolutely. And then I've had instances actually this season where I paired a black devil motley that I have to a scoria, and they showed no interest in each other at all. None. Took him out, put him in with a nice motley, or not motley, albino female all over. Same male, same room, same facility. Had no interest in the scoria female at all, and she had none of him.
So 2 opinions on that. First opinion is this. A lot of the old literature was based on fresh imports, and I just don't think they're cycling on that timeline anymore because they're 5, 6, or 7 generations of captive bred.
Right.
So in my opinion with boas, I actually had one year I had a litter every month of the year. But what I typically do with boas, like you said, I put the male in and he tells me what's going on.
Right.
If he's in there for 2 or 3 days and ignoring her, he's out.
Yeah.
And I'll wait 30 days, put him back in again. And I do also think him going in there and stimulating the female just being in that environment will possibly get her to start building if she wasn't already building.
Right.
But just like Vin Russo, I like food cycling for boas. I like that dry season, wet season stimulation.
So, you know Warren Booth?
I do.
So shout out to Warren Booth. There's Warren Booth and there's Keith McPeak. We all know Keith. For
Absolutely.
Sure. You know Keith or no, Dave?
No, actually, I lied. I don't know this.
But I have people who, like I just mentioned, who are really good at breeding certain things that a lot of people aren't good at. And what it is the way they feed them. Like there's something that they do to the female at a certain time that just it like guarantees fucking ovulation.
Yeah.
Do you kind of know what I'm talking about with that?
I'll food cycle.
And is that the spike? Is that the Steve Doss, ladies and gentlemen? Steve, dude, Monday Night Raw's finest. Steve Doss in the building. No, but is it the bump or spike in the meal, or what do you think it is?
So I think it's the retraction of the meal. When you start taking the food away, they kind of go into that cycle. They know that it's fall and or winter because rodents become less scarce, food prey becomes less scarce, or more scarce. I'm sorry, and it's just a cycle. So I think when you take the food cycle and take the food away, it sends them into that cool down mode, the winter mode, into a breeding season.
When it comes to the species of snakes that you're having results with productions with, are you all getting them back on food the same way? Like, is there a certain, like, start them off small and consistent to big, or what's the regiment for you when it comes to, like, bouncing a girl back off after either laying a litter or dropping a clutch?
I do small rodents
more
multiple
often
quantities. Yeah. Okay. So instead of like one medium rat a week, or say, I'll do like 2 small rats every 5 days to get them back to the regimen.
And then you chill.
Yeah.
Okay. And then okay, let's talk about when you get them to size, how they should be. At what point are you throwing that shit? When do you turn it up?
Honestly, I never feed anything. Once I get the birth weight back on the female, I don't push anything past a medium rat once a week, unless it's a bigger species. But like all my python species, I don't have anything that I feed bigger than a medium rat. Boas I do, but I put
not even your Timors.
What's that?
Not even the Timors.
No. So in my experience with Timors in the past, I've worked on them 05, 06, 07, and 08. I got them in 06 and 08. I missed them in 05 and 07. They have to be older, they have to be thinner, and they have to be like a muscular tone build. Fat Timor, just like a fat Moluccan, they will not breed.
So let's talk about this, okay? Shout out to Mike Lehman, okay, from the Gourmet Rodent. So he's had 13 Timor clutches. He said from when I had him on the show, he's like, we're averaging about 10 to 13 Timor clutches a year. Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, we feed the living shit out of them. And I handed my whole Timor collection over to my boy Andrew Acevedo, and he is literally treating them like we're ticks. He's feeding the shit out of them, right. and he's getting fucking results, which is, trust me, blows my mind. But yeah. I don't know though. I mean, at the end of the day, just because that means it's getting to go, is that the right thing to do? Like, I don't know. Like, because we're talking like, bro, this motherfucker's feeding his Timors like jumbos. like
Yeah.
huge rats, bro.
I mean, I can see it as closest thing to a retic in the species. So I mean, I can see them slamming like that, but I've had success keeping them mild and muscular. You know what I mean? Like
And you have one Timor clutch under your belt, right?
two,
Two.
06 and 08.
So here you go. Here's a good example that you don't need a. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they don't have to be fat.
you know what's funny is I want to know the longevity. I want to know how long your female lives and how long the other females live
Right.
because of this kind of thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I mean, Dave, let's be honest. There's certain people who have expectations of certain snakes dying on them when they're like 10, 11 years old. That's not the case. That shouldn't be the case.
No.
I mean, you have an expectations of your breeders to live how long? Be honest.
Tell you the truth, because I feel like I'm still young in this hobby. I guess maybe 15, 20 years, and then maybe 10 years of retirement. First collection I ever saw was Ralph Davis's collection way back in the day. And when you first walked in, he had a whole wall of CB70 racks of retired female ball pythons. They were just there and they were being fed. So it's kind of up to you. And when you talk about your food intake and like where Mike does what he does, there's 1,000 different ways to breed the same species. You got to find out what works for you.
Absolutely.
What's your take, Chad, on mice versus rats? Like, do you have a certain thing that you stick to with feeding your boas only mice and then going to rats? You go straight to rats. How do you feel about that dynamic, rats versus mice?
Most species that I have, I'll usually start out on hopper mice. I usually don't have anything that requires pinky, so hopper mice, and then I'll move on to rats as quickly as possible. But I have found for finicky species, mice usually work better than rats to start. And you might send them with stuff to get things started. But I usually always start on mice, and then I move over to rats. I try to move over to rats by third or fourth meal, no matter what the species, unless it's obviously something that can't physically take a rat. But
And that's obviously takes you paying attention to that, because you got people who go, oh, I go this all the time, but no, hold on. There's no way you feed a fucking rat pup to that weenie ass fucking ball python that you just hatched. Like, there's no
People do.
There's no physical way.
Small,
That
day old,
can't be
2 day old.
good.
No.
I just can't be good.
no.
Well, here's the thing. I do think that ball pythons are built differently, and I think we have realized that they can be pushed harder than most other species.
But that's why
when it
they're
comes
built
to food
differently, because
intake.
it could take longer for them to die.
The thing is, like I said, there's a different diet for every breeder. But people, okay, how about this? Greg Graziani, when he got the first Pastella, and it was a male.
Yeah.
He raised it for 6 years
I got to
before
take a
he
lead.
bred it. Yeah, buddy. Let's do this with him. Never bring a couple other people. I don't want that on me.
No, put it on right now. Listen, you're good.
All right, fine.
You can hear yourself. Talk.
Sounds horrible in here. So, nonetheless, lost my train of thought and touched my fucking face.
Talk about Graziani's.
Okay, so Graziani. So Graziani took 6 years to get that male up to breeding size, and then he bred it. That was the norm back then. Now people get in there in 6 months, sometimes even faster.
Yeah.
I know of one breeder one time who had a male ball python lock-in at like 3 months old. So just over 90 days.
Right.
Long-term effects, probably not going to be the best. And then there's other breeders, like I know a guy that only feeds his ball python females 9 times a year, and he does a large rat instead of multiple smalls over the year, and he loves doing it that way, and he's successful. Just goes back to the conversation. Different things work for different people, but ball pythons, in my opinion, have proved to not be very sensitive when it comes to food intake, because I've seen a lot of people push them to the brink, and they do just fine.
Absolutely.
And I've also heard, and this could be rumors at the bar, I've heard there's been studies done where they said that the organ development in an animal that was power fed was no different than an animal that was slow fed. I doubt that, and it was probably a dumb rumor at the bar, but that's what somebody was talking to me about one time. Shit, man, I guess without him here, we're kind of fucked. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't even know what the fuck you are. But how about this? Fuck it, I don't do shit. He's back.
He's back.
I don't even know what the fuck we were talking about again. Right?
Now what?
I mean, we really just didn't say shit to each other. We just got to stare at
Shut
each
the
other.
fuck up. There's no way.
Actually, that's exactly what
It was
happened.
nice though.
Yeah, it was
Was it nice?
It's
Yeah,
common.
we both got a nice beard, so fuck yeah.
just taking in, man. It's like looking in the fucking mirror, buddy.
Thanks, Mark Bailey. Appreciate Mark Bailey. Got me a quesadilla. Mark Bailey Reptiles, ladies and gentlemen. Bring it over here. Mark. Come on, Mark. Take an appearance.
Come on in, man.
Mark Bailey Reptiles. Hey, he's been a sponsor of NARBC. He's not a new person, okay? He's been around a long time.
He looks young, though. You sure about that?
Hey, Dad, I want
So
my
you
Oakleys
look
back.
like a child. You haven't been in this industry that long. Spring chicken, buddy. Spring chicken.
And do you know Mark Bailey?
I know Mark Bailey
Just thought I asked.
because of Forrest. I met him because of Forrest.
Oh, it's like it says.
No, I'm just saying. I met him because of Forrest. We went in a room, hung out one time.
Mark Bailey said, hey, this is why you come to Tinley. You got people like Mark Bailey hanging out right in front of you. A lot of legendary people right here in front of him. Dennis McNamara, okay, Virginia Zoo's finest. Anyways, how you doing, Dennis? Good to see you. Okay,
We'll bring Dennis on in a minute.
No, yeah. We'll take it all over.
That's fine.
It's not the Dennis show. This is a Chad show right
Well, whatever.
now. All right, okay, back to business real quick. Bowens, the price of Bowens. Chad, you've been around for a while, buddy.
Yep.
Do you think they need to be where they're at, or do you feel like fuck it, raise them or lower them? What do you think about the market price for a Bowens?
Well, let's be honest, man. They're not worth what they cost.
Oh, well, here's the thing.
I'm going to be honest with you because I love Bowens. It's my absolute favorite species on this
And he
fucking
keeps them.
planet.
And he keeps them.
And I keep them.
Yeah, you're not being biased.
I'm not being biased. I have them. I own them. I've owned them for years. I also pay $4,500 for a fucking pair, not 10, 12, 15, 20 grand each, which, let's be honest, is absolutely fucking stupid.
But you still don't want to pay $4,500 for a pair, even.
I'll pay $4,500 for a pair all day.
That makes sense.
But I'll never pay $20,000 each.
Well,
because let's be honest, I'm going to be honest. I've bred a lot of fucking pythons. I cannot breed a Bowens. I've bred Moluccan scrubs, which less people in captivity have bred those than Bowens. I can't get Bowens. All right. So here's the deal.
What's the deal, buddy? Tell us the deal right now.
The deal is, I don't even remember what I was going to say.
What's the deal about Bowens, man? I mean, you can't get them to breed.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay, how about this?
Take a drink, buddy.
So, market price on an animal, whatever somebody is willing to pay for it. Same thing in the ball python community. They come out with something using ingredients that are affordable, and then they put a unbelievable price tag on it based on the appearance and the demand for the animal.
Right.
Same thing with Bowens. I was offered Bowens for $1,200 in 2004. I didn't understand them, but they were beautiful. Bowens are an iconic kind of snake. You know, it's something that the iridescence, the white lines on that black background, it's appealing for people.
Right.
So it's so appealing that there are people that are paying $10,000 a piece. There was probably the same amount of people paying $1,200 a piece in the early 2000s, but the more people talk about them, you know what I think it is in the industry? People do not like being told they can't do something and they won't be successful. So every asshole comes in buying Bowens because everybody before them couldn't do it.
Right.
And I think that's one of the draws to it because nobody likes to be told they can't do something.
Right. And I get that, but I also don't understand paying $20,000 for a trophy.
So here's the thing.
I don't even know what $20,000 looks like.
We're talking about a trophy that's so addicting that I have a good buddy of mine where I don't want to say money's not an option, but let's paint this picture. He dropped $30K for an adult female, like I'm talking a really big female Bowens, right? Gorgeous. Bought a new house. He specifically designed underneath his staircase the ideal Bowlen enclosure, meaning tile that is heated. Like he could do whatever temperature he wants underneath the staircase. That's 8 foot tall, all the way down to like every dimension you could think of, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful brick wall and stuff like that. With the brick wall. This thing, okay, and God bless my boy, but he didn't give it. I guess apparently didn't give him enough ledging, where these kind of brick backgrounds that he had a little tiny bit of like sticking out ledges, where it was like trying to grip to like kind of pull itself up, and cause an abscess, a tooth impact,
right,
which he didn't find until after the shed, and he's like, holy shit, the mouth was like super like pussed out and stuff. She shed and then died. I'm talking a 30 grand snake with probably a 20 grand enclosure. Gone just like that.
Yep.
So one thing with that,
holy shit, what a mistake.
With a species like that you already know is a challenging species, never start with an adult. Like, why buy,
bro,
not someone else's problem necessarily, but if you know something your word is so challenging, why wouldn't you want it from day one to know how it was raised if you have a new idea on how you're supposed to do it properly? You know what I mean? But we also, none of us want to wait. I mean, Tim Bailey said it best. When you spend that much money on an animal, you're paying for time. That's it. You're buying time. You buy a 2G ball python instead of buying a double head, you're buying time.
Sure.
That's my opinion. So how are we doing this, man? Are we cycling people in?
No, hell no. This is I
It's a
got
full-time
way
Chad?
too much questions for Chad.
All right,
right
well,
now,
I'm going to bring Jeff in and talk with you guys, too, because Jeff knows more
Where's
about
Jeff?
pythons than you might know,
Jeff.
for all I know.
All right, guys. Dave Levinson for now.
I'll be back
You're
in a
not. No,
second.
you're not gone forever, buddy. Jeff, what's up, Jeff? Listen, before we continue this, introduce yourself for the people who don't know who you are.
My name is Jeff Byers. I work at Woolbanks Inc. for the last 3 years, and then about a 3-year break, and then another 3 years before that.
You're a lot more put together than I expected you to be, because he's brought on some very suspected type of individuals who couldn't even put sentences together. But thank you for being here, Jeff.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So we got Chad Grey here, and you know, listen, like I said, it's a Chad Grey episode for a reason. Chad knows I've been hitting him up for over 2. Chad, am I wrong or right?
You're right.
Thank you.
You're
Okay,
right.
so this, you know, as much as Dave wants to kind of like, hey man, is this? Yeah, no, yeah, it is a Chad Grey episode. Are you kidding me? It might be the only fucking time. But Jeff, you've been around for a minute. I mean, the Bowens python. What is it about the Bowens, you think?
I don't know. I've worked with a few. They were imports, some babies, some yearlings. We got, when I was working for Bob, we got a bigger pair out of Canada.
Bob Clark?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago, we got a pair out of Canada that were 6 or 7 footers. They were really cool. We were keeping them just like we kept berms or retics or something else, and that was wrong. We just, that's what we were doing. And, you know, we didn't really have all of the stuff we needed. We probably should have been doing with them to keep them better than a retic or better than a Burmese or all the other species that we had at the time.
I mean, if there's a question that you might have for Chad regarding, I mean, because what species are you most passionate about? Like, what would be your bread and butter?
Well, at work, it's ball pythons. We're delving into
Perfect.
green
Okay.
tree pythons.
Okay, so Chad, what is it about the ball pythons that never gave you an interest? Because I don't see any ball pythons at your table ever. But Chad, you've been around, buddy, and you know there's money to be made. But here you are, nothing to do with ball pythons. What's going on with that?
I just don't enjoy them, man. When I started the reptile game in 1998, there were 5 or 6 morphs, and they were all incredible to everybody at the time. Pastel, Anzatic, clown, piebald, albino. And they were all amazing, and they were $25,000, $30,000 for just one gene snake. But there was only 6, not 56,000. You know, it's not enjoyable to me when everywhere I go, every show I go to, everybody I talk to has ball pythons. It's not fun to me. I don't want to keep the same thing that everybody keeps and strive for the same thing when you're not really doing anything besides putting more and more of one common species out there that's very oversaturated.
And guys, that's what happens sometimes when you hatch other things besides ball pythons. Bro, listen, Chad, the ball pythons is why I'm even relevant today, man. If it wasn't for the ball pythons, I wouldn't have laces. I wouldn't have things to make me look cool enough to talk to you, buddy. I wouldn't. Like, imagine if I was a ball python guy, Chad would not be sitting here. He wouldn't. He'd be like, what the fuck do I need? What do I need to talk to you about? You feel me? He has mad fans out there. You know, shout out to the Chad Grey fans, but here you are staying loyal to the shit that you love.
Yeah.
Jeff, what do you have to respond to that?
Well, I definitely have a big love of things unique and rare just for the sake of their rarity. Like, I've got some rough scale pythons myself at my house. I've had a few other things over the years, and I love Bowens pythons. They're great. I am personally waiting for people like yourself to dial them in, get them figured out. Put
it all on fucking Chad.
Well, you know,
I'm going to do it.
there's people out here like him that are committed to doing it. And just like, you know, diamond pythons were back in the late 90s, early 2000s, people had a lot of trial and error with diamond pythons. And now here we are. Most people that really commit to them can breed them with some regularity. And Bowens pythons will be that way. I think in the next decade, we'll have dedicated keepers nailing them down.
Dude, guys, cooler is cooler, guys. What made the diamond successful was keeping them cooler.
Right.
Fucking Gary puts them in the 50s, bro.
It's why they're black. They need a lot of thermoregulation in the wild to be them.
But to the average full-blooded keeper, you think, no, it can't deal with that type of temperature. But they can. Like that's why you need to do your homework on what you're keeping. Because especially, Chad, you know, if it comes down to you wanting to breed it, if you keep things so way too hot, or something where you're not going to have success with it.
Absolutely.
And that even goes to ball pythons. Bro, there are people who I get their passion, man. God bless you, man. Like, you're doing great. You got your clutch. But how come you're getting slugs from ball pythons? That timeout, buddy. My heartbreak came from chondros, not a ball python. Ball pythons was fucking just too easy for me.
There's children that accidentally breed ball pythons.
Hello, bro. 6 years old. Are you kidding me?
In the closet.
In the closet. Nike box.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the end of the day, that's why I'm like, bro, just because Chad Grey and motherfuckers who are good at it doesn't mean you could do it. Do you have the attention to detail? Or even paying attention?
Right.
And this is, I mean, it's kind of crazy, man. Chad, a Tinley veteran who's never fucked with ball pythons to where it's at his table. Just stay loyal. And Jeff, you're loyal. I get it. But Jeff, if I get this fucking green tree monitor to hatch,
it's gonna be epic.
I'm gonna sell you all my ball pythons, buddy. They're gone. I'm talking about buy one, get 1,000 free. I was kidding. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Guys, Jeff, you want to throw your plugs? Anyway where people can follow you?
I have an Instagram. It's Niferous. I'm on Facebook as just Jeff Byers. You can find us through Wilbanks Reptiles, Wilbanks Inc. I don't have like a personal business page or anything. So,
hey, drop a comment if I should bring Jeff on the show. I think I want a one-on-one episode with the homie Jeff for sure. Jeff, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Have a good
It'll be
night.
fun.
Appreciate you so
Thanks.
much. And get that guy with the mullet to come back. Hey, Chad, I got to tell you, man, listen, as much as we're geeking out over Bowens, if the real keeper knows, Timors are just as sick. Like what an unspoken hero that the Timor python is.
Absolutely.
We're talking about something that's just like retic, but not a retic.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
a beautiful species.
What brought you to the Timor game, bro? I got to ask you.
So my entire time I've been doing reptiles, I've always been drawn to rare pythons. Bowens, Timor, Scrubs. So what's always drawn me. So as soon as I got the opportunity to work with them in the early 2000s, I jumped on it. I mean, they're beautiful.
Right.
How
And
can- how
what
can you- if
were
you're a
you
Python
buying?
fan, how can you not work with it?
What were you buying them for back then?
$250.
Hey,
$250. I had one guy. You bought 5 of them. You can get them for $1,000.
so Chad, you remember? Dude, this is somebody. I'm not gonna. Chad, I came at you sideways, buddy. I came at you so cocky because I had 13 Timors, which I thought nobody had that many, right?
Right.
And I had these golden, beautiful ones. And then you posted your Exantic, and you're like, in my opinion, not calling nobody out. You're like, in my opinion, nicest Timor I've ever seen in my entire life. And I was like, nah, bro, I got some. And then I saw your Exantic in person, and I was like, holy shit, this is a hypo Timor.
Yeah.
Or like or whatever the fuck. There's
Right.
something going on with this.
Yeah.
And we think the rarity behind that. Like that's, think about it. If it wasn't people who are trying to get geeked out over a species like Timors, there's a possibility where Timors wouldn't even be here right now.
Right. And when I saw this species in a form other than its normal one, I had to jump on it, man. Like I've never seen an albino, I've never seen an anthrax, a morph of any kind of a Timor, besides when they've been crossed with retics. And I was like, I'm taking this opportunity now. It's a very, very long-term project. When I've read them before, both animals are over 10 years old. They're not a size breeder, they're an age breeder. So you got to commit a lot of time. I'm 5 more years before I can even breed this girl on a time scale. So, I mean, I committed.
And Chad, I got to ask you, man, you know, when you're having fun, you're having fun, but that means time flies. Do you feel like time's been flying for you?
In some ways, yeah. Yeah, man.
Because you're just doing you, man.
Yeah. I've been breeding reptiles for a long time. 98 when I started in my basement of my mom's house, breeding corn snakes, leopard geckos.
Hey,
ball
God bless
pythons,
all the
things like
mothers
that.
out there, man.
And it evolved to what it is. I've bred 26 python species in my life. And I'll be honest with you, if I can breed Bowens, I can fucking retire. But I can't until I do it.
So what do you think it's going to take?
I really don't know. I
Like,
really don't
like
know.
maybe buying more if you can?
I would probably add to my group, but not a lot.
Right.
But
But
keep a small group.
you would
but-
you strategically do that. Like you wouldn't just, like you say, you wouldn't drop 10K on one.
No. And I'm also thinking they're a lot more like Timor pythons, and maybe they're just an age breeder. Maybe it takes some age to get there. You know, Ari talked about one of his books as well. You may have to cycle a male between multiple females because he had talked about being out in the wild and in nest sites seeing multiple females to one male. So I'm even thinking you have to rotate a single male between multiple females because maybe in the wild they have an area they cover. So I don't know. I might add to my group, but I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go crazy.
Is that your buddy with the fox? Is that your buddy?
Which one?
The guy at the Fox, is that your buddy right?
Yeah, that guy's a goofball.
Yeah, we got a big
That's
douche
Brock
throwing
the
shit
Top
at
man. He's silly.
Does he keep anything cool at least? Like, is he anything
He's
reputable?
he keeps skinks. I don't know.
Bro, we're getting interrupted by somebody who keeps skinks. Fuck
Right.
no. Are you
They're not
kidding
even
me?
like monkey tails.
Bro, you are not involved right now. I'm
Like
sorry,
5
buddy.
skinks.
We're talking 5 skinks. Fox Racing, bro. No, but listen, at the end of the day, dude, check it out. There's a potential situation in your hands. You get Timor's crack in the way that nobody is, right?
Yeah.
What do you do with the prices? I mean, coming from somebody who came up on a $250 per Timor fucking come up in the years that you did.
Yeah.
But here you are finally making the dream come true. But how do you price those now? Based off of other people's prices?
Well, who else is breeding them?
Thank you.
So I would probably take the import price, whatever that is, and maybe add 25 to 50% for my time and effort. So if wholesale's, $700, I might make it $1,000, $1,200 per baby. And of course, if you buy a pair or multi, get a discount.
By the way, shout out to Ship Your Reptiles, Sean and Susie, beautiful couple, just now saying hi and leaving. But dude, I gotta ask you, bro. Womas, we're another great species of pythons you work with, which not everyone could breed womas. Is there something that happened with you in the womas that made you kind of turn the corner, or was there something that maybe that you adjusted that made you get more success?
And to be honest with you, the womas always were easy. The blackheads made me make the adjustments. So I treated my blackheads just like I did my womas. I had to change a few things. I kept them a little cooler than I did my womas because of the location. I decreased the humidity a little bit because of the location. So I had to make some adjustments. Womas always came easy to me for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not trying to be cocky. They just came to me. Blackheads did not. So and it's been one of those species I kept with over the years because, they're beautiful. Why not?
I would be a dumbass if I did not take advantage of this opportunity, Chad. And what I'm trying to figure out is what is it that I work with that you potentially might want? Because listen, you want to know why I love, I wouldn't want to say him, but you want to know why I love some people like Patrick Holmes. You know Patrick Holmes?
Yep.
Okay.
Fuck you.
Is that your boy?
I know the guy.
But he's not your friend, right?
Like I see him twice a year.
Okay.
He's got
Just let me know what I can do. Like, you know what I
you
mean?
can do whatever you want.
Because this is a special episode.
You kick him in the balls.
He keeps interrupting, you know what I mean? And I might put a Sheila on him next time he interrupts. So you don't want Sheila on him. But listen, what I was fucking saying. Goddamn. No, but okay, at the end of the day, let's kind of think of one thing, right? What you can do as far as the knowledge behind the stuff that you're working with. Is there anything that you don't have that you want to add at this point? Like anything, like just what's the one species Chad has not fucked with and you really want to work with?
Oh God. Well, I can't get them, but I would obviously work with king horning scrub pythons if I could get those. Yeah. And I think my next project, I've never bred diamonds. I think I might go after that.
Diamond pythons.
Yeah.
Okay. We have next to Dave is Megan from Anaconda. Megan, do you know Chad Grey Reptiles? And if you don't, it's okay because he didn't. So be honest.
I've heard of him. I don't know him.
Respectable. You're a veteran Tinleyer. How you feeling, Megan? How's everything going?
Pretty good.
How do you feel about moving here in about, I don't know how many months? You're going to be here soon.
Wow, you're just giving away all my secrets, aren't you?
Everyone.
There's got to be a reason to come to Tinley. This is going to be a Tinley home show for Megan.
Yeah.
And she's getting married, and I'm DJing the fucking wedding. Can you believe it? No, I'm not. Mentally, I am. Mentally.
You're barely invited.
I got an invite. Well, listen, Megan, first and foremost, thank you for sitting down with us. I don't like a lot of big snake keepers. You're my favorite, okay? I'm not going to lie.
Thank you.
Bowling pythons. I feel like that's kind of the hottest topic with Chad Grey. Do you feel like, God forbid, right? Like, I have an adult pair of bowling pythons that I can't keep, and I'm putting them in your hands. What would be your approach to working with bowling pythons? Based on what
shit about
let her talk. Let her talk.
I have no idea. I want some in the future, but I have no idea.
So what would your questions be about?
How to get them to breed? What you gotta drop them?
Chad's trying to figure that himself.
I know you have to drop them super low, but I've heard you need like a really high elevation or something.
Barometric pressure changes.
Yeah. You do that with anacondas anyways.
I always wondered whether or not to move to Colorado and try to breed bowlers that would help out a little bit.
Right.
I mean, let's be honest, Megan, not a lot of people breed anacondas. What is it that you feel like that helps you get that shit down with the Annies?
What?
What the fuck? All right, guys. Megan, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night, Megan.
You were talking to him.
Yeah, we're doing our own thing right now.
This is Chad Brown, or not Chad Brown. Listen, Megan, have a good night.
I just want to crash it, that's all.
Oh, let me crash it. But I'm dead serious. At the end of the day, the biggest hype behind Bowens, should it be the price? Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
They're just cool in general. So it's like, just to own one would be kind of cool, just to have one as like a pet. Not
It's
even
like
to breed them or the price or anything, just to have one. They're just cool animals.
What if you had to trade one of your albinos for it?
There's only one.
No.
There's only one.
Megan, ladies and gentlemen. So guys, anyways, incubation. Let's talk about that. You work with multiple different species here, Chad.
Yep.
How do you incubate things? All in one? All in one? Are you a fucking goddamn Ryan Young with it, or how do you delegate what species to incubate at what temperatures?
Pythons, I incubate at 88 degrees.
Every single one.
Every single one. Unless I do maternal, and then I can't help with it, what it fluctuates between. But if I put them in the incubator, it goes 88 degrees, 1 degree flux.
Does that sound accurate to you, Dave?
I have no experience.
You've bred no pythons in your entire life?
No, I've bred pythons. But more the general stuff. A lot of the stuff I work with is live bears. I've been a big boa guy my entire life.
Yeah.
Blue tongue skates, which are live bears, colubrid stuff, but you can have a fluctuation in temperature and everything's fine. There's a little bit of off. You can run into kinking with your colubrids, but a lot of that stuff seems like there could be a little up and down. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
So just farted. You smell that?
Starting to wish. Oh my god, bro.
I'm gonna walk away for a second. I can't sit in this.
Chad, listen, I think it's best if it's just you and I, buddy. I really feel like I'm really I really shorted you. Because, dude,
You're good, man.
No, listen, at the end of the day, Chad,
We're gonna have to do another one of these. Like,
No. But it's okay. I'm taking advantage right now, bud, because you're in the zone. You're feeling good. And you told me, MJ, not the only, but the best chance you're going to get of me sitting down on your show is at a fucking Tinley, and we're just hanging out. So here we are, man. And Chad, I'm not sugarcoating it, bro. Like, I got brought into the ball python hype of things. That's not my hype anymore because of people like you and many other people who work with specific species that take your attention, bro. Like, I feel like you want your attention. I feel like when you walk into a room and you know there's things that you're geeked out over, you want to see things that they give you like some sort of a grasping kind of like, I have to pay attention to this. Right. And I'm not trying to doubt the ball pythons, but there's things where throw them together, come back in a little bit, and there you go. Right. But there's also like, I mean, what's your experience with white-lipped pythons?
I've bred both northerns and southerns.
Success with any of them?
Yeah, I've produced both.
Woo!
Produced
I
both.
love it.
Northerns, Northerns 3 times, southerns twice. The biggest thing I learned about breeding them, which was the weirdest thing, is you have to reduce almost all the humidity to cool them.
Wait, reduce the humidity?
Reduce.
I've been spiking it up. Holy shit. Dude, what? Chad,
reduce. So what I would do is when I started to cool the process, I'd take all the cypress mulch out, replace it with aspen. Shrink the water bowl size. This is just to cool. So when I would pair them, I would put half the mulch back in to increase the humidity, and then I would give them a shared water bowl, which was usually like a shallow cat pan.
Are we speaking before you even pair them? That's the case?
No, so when I'm going to pair them, I put a large water bowl in, do 50-50 on the bedding now, just to increase the humidity some, but not full. Okay. And I only do the large water bowl strictly for fighting, not for humidity.
Meaning fighting to drink?
Yeah.
So they both could just get your drinks in, and that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they do fight. Even if you have a compatible pair, they still fight. They're still aggressive. You still risk losing one pretty quickly.
I heard there's people I can't say people, but I've heard rumors of females killing males.
Yeah.
Like just like hitting them, get the fuck away from me, they're dead.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They hit hard, they hit fast, and they know what they're doing.
Bro, so the most teeth out of any python species from what I heard. Yeah. Dude, I've been bitten. I bleed. When that fucking white lip hits me, bro, I bleed.
I hear you. A lot of teeth in there. And they're dicks.
They're dicks, bro. Yeah.
All of them.
I want to ask you one thing, because we're speaking really facts about a species that is known for being dicks. White lips? I can't say southern, but white lips?
Yeah.
they could be very unpredictable.
Absolutely.
They could go from like, yeah, I'm here and I'm gone, or bam, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But have you noticed? And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but have you noticed when a female that's normally aggro, when she's actually going the distance, she calms down a little bit.
Yeah.
Like there's like a demeanor where it's like, I have so much going on with me where I'm not trying to fuck you up.
Right.
And I got to tell you, man, ever since my female did get big enough, and dude, I seen physical locks of my white lips. I see it going down.
Right.
And now I see it to a size where I'm like, holy shit, right? No ovulation yet. They're both still slamming food. They still got a both big ass water bowl. I'll tell you that much. But man, it sucks. I treat everything like ball pythons, like because that's what I know to breed.
Right.
But it's not the case, buddy.
No, not at all.
That's a huge adjustment.
Yeah.
But what a blessing. I don't want something that easy.
Right.
How big is ovulation for a white lip? How big? Like compared to anything else that ovulates, like a noticeable like football.
Yeah, not a football, but baseball swelling.
Because you know how those things
Not
work.
the size that we have in usually. So.
Yeah, I mean, is there any species like because ball pythons? I seen a goddamn football on a ball python, right? Is there any species out there that blows up like that?
Angolan pythons.
Angolans,
They
right?
get big as fuck.
Right. So I mean, like that's what I'm saying, man. Just because a snake's a snake, like look at the Bowens, man. Why is the Bowens a goddamn mystery? Because we just haven't adjusted that thing just yet. And with the diamonds, I feel like it's the temp drop.
Right. It's doable.
It's doable, but it's
doable.
like
it's got to be figured out. And I think the person closest to doing it is probably Keith McPeak. I've seen his setup in person. It's immaculate.
Keith,
like, if there's anybody that's in this business, this hobby, this game, that can intuit into damn near anything, it is Keith McPeak. He's so knowledgeable.
Because if Keith does it, that means Ari Flagwell does it. That means Chad does it. That means we fucking figured out what it was, bro. But I mean, I feel like it's just gonna be a matter of time who figures it out.
Yeah.
But listen, bro, like, isn't that the whole point? Like, why give up on something you haven't figured out yet?
Right.
Ball python game is what do you figure out? What morph to buy?
Right.
It's a rat race, dude.
Right.
Fuck a rat race, man. It's so annoying to see so many people chasing the same thing you want.
Right.
Who the fuck is chasing the Bowens? Minimal.
Very.
Right?
Very
Who the fuck is chasing the blackhead wombas?
Right.
Minimal. Chad, I gotta tell you, I'm a big fan of you because of all the stuff you work with.
I appreciate it.
I have people like Rest in Peace Forrest Fanning, many other people who embedded these species that I should be in love with. And then when you go research it, I gotta give Facebook props, buddy. If it wasn't for Facebook, I would not be so geeked out over you.
Right.
Because that's where you get a lot of respect, man. And when you get respect on Facebook, and you know how that shit can switch.
Oh yeah.
Like you can go from being the most loved to like he's a piece of shit.
Right.
And Chad is Chad, buddy. Like you keep the same name that you've had since I've known you. Because guess what? It's all about the animals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I do this shit. You know.
I mean,
it's not for the
fame or the fucking look at me or
right. I don't do any of that shit, man. Like I haven't done a podcast in years.
Oh, thank you.
You know. Like
and you're saying you'll do another one with me.
I'll do another when I'm not had so much drinks.
But maybe this was the icebreaker.
Right. But you know, like when I set out to breed something, I put a project in my mind. I'll run through that project until I'm completely satisfied.
Right.
Whether it be intensifying the color, whether it be intensifying a gene, making a different color, whatever the case may be, I put a goal in mind. I run through that project until I get it, and then I can move on to something else. So with ball pythons, per se, when the fuck was your project end? It never ends.
Does it?
There's 50,000 morphs.
Well,
You'd never end.
I mean,
but with straight species that don't have any morphs, or if they do have morphs, it's very fucking
straightforward.
few. It's it. You're working for that species. You're not working for a fucking color.
But bro, working with the straightforward species is going to give you more of a legacy than any ball python morph will ever fucking give you.
Absolutely.
Like, bro, I'm fucking getting credit because of my goddamn emeralds and condos that I keep.
Absolutely.
It ain't my ball pythons.
Absolutely.
If I would, dude, bro, it's not my ball pythons at all. I would just be another fucking schmuck.
Yeah.
And no offense to anyone out there who's in the ball python game because it takes a lot of money.
Absolutely.
But for what? But for what? For something that's been bred over and over and over and over again, the legacy.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
something that anybody can breed. When you pick out the species, it's not easy to breed. You have to commit to it. You have to try to figure it the fuck out. The ball python, you don't have to figure anything out. You put 2 of them in the shoebox for breeding.
Megan,
If you try to go with a Bowens or a Papuan or a white lip or a scrub, you have to be committed to that species if you think you're going to breed it. Because quite frankly, none of these are easy to breed other than ball pythons.
Right,
There are a whole lot more that are honed in and they're a lot easier than others. But if you're committed to a species that's not, you're in that shit. It's not about flipping it tomorrow because it's fucking pretty. You're in the species.
how many people you see come to every Tinley, Chad, that you enjoy seeing because the work they put behind multiple species versus that influencer who's here because of their fucking goddamn ball python project?
Yeah.
It's a difference.
Absolutely.
And Megan, like I said, female power, man. Girl fucking power sitting right next to me. And I'm going to her wedding. Dude, what was it that made you want to figure out anacondas? Or was it easy for you? Like, don't sugarcoat it. Like, how did you have to figure out how to breed anacondas, period?
I kind of just got one because I liked them for like the stereotype when I was like 15, which I don't recommend. I bought it off Craigslist, and then I had it for a couple years. I grew it up, and I was like, you know what? This seems interesting. Not many people breed them. I was like, I want to give it a try. It took me about 2 years, and then I finally ended up doing it, and I was like, I can do this consistently. Like a lot of it was also a lot of information I got from Ben Rennick. So he kind of helped me out in the beginning and kind of showed me what to do and how to like drop the temperatures and everything.
Is that when things took off? Is when you passed?
For me,
For you
no, I
personally?
was already breeding pretty steadily before that.
I meant your TikTok. I'm just kidding. Hey, go, dude. Her TikTok's popping right now. Just so you know. But also, okay, let's talk about being viral when you're just kind of just being Megan. Like, how do you deal with putting out videos where there's so much opinion behind? Like, all of a sudden, there's all these experts behind what you do.
I just kind of ignore it.
Straight up.
Yeah, just all the people who don't. Like, I'll try and teach the people who are genuinely curious on like how to learn. But like other people who are just like hating and like everything like that, you just got to ignore it. There's like no kind of changing anyone's mind when you try to teach them.
How much hate have you even dealt with, Chad? Hey, Drew, Chad, you know, I'm telling you right now, you have shit where people will just hate on you because what you keep.
Right.
How much have you that? I mean, have you felt that at all? Like jealous motherfuckers just because what you're doing with certain things.
I ignore all the bullshit, man. I ignore all of it.
So you can't even answer that because you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't pay attention.
I don't give a fuck.
You just keep looking at your animals.
I keep what I like, and that's what I do. I keep what I like. I keep what I love. I don't give a shit who takes it, who likes it, who buys it, who else keeps. I don't give a fuck. I keep the species that I want to keep. Period.
That's all you got to do.
If you don't like it, cool. If you do like it, cool. I don't care.
If not, keep it moving.
Exactly.
I said, if not, keep it moving.
That's right.
Yeah. What do you have to say overall, Megan, about Tinley being a majority of ball python show? I mean, does that bother you at all?
It doesn't bother me. I mean, people like what they want, or like what they like, and then I don't know. It's kind of fun. I mean, I'm friends with half the ball python breeders here, anyways. Like, look at Dave. He's one of my best friends.
But Dave's a boa guy.
This Tinley, he is.
I got to ask you this, Chad. I mean, overall, how you see the growth within the reptile industry. Do you have anything that you're most excited to keep working with? Like what I mean by that, like, do you have anything, like, you have certain people who feel like might be the next ball python? I'm not saying that you're looking for that, but do you have anything that you feel like that you work with that is a lot more workable than people think? Like this could be a beginner species if you think about it.
Man, I can't say that I do, mate.
Respect.
I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't think that I work with a species that would be a good introductory species. Other than python wise, boas obviously BCI is great. There's a common boa. Python wise, though, I don't think I keep a species that I would recommend for a beginner.
Let's talk about the higher, like the higher marketing for a chondro community, right? Somebody, and I see a lot of these, man, people coming in, they saw one podcast, they dropped 7K on a Neo. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And God bless you. I mean, a lot of people do that, right? But going after the chondro designer game. Yeah. What do you feel about that? A little different.
So chondros, man, they command a lot of respect just because you don't really know what you're going to get. You can breed 2 melanistic animals like Bill Stiegel does a lot, and he's producing a lot of animals that are developing melanism. But the unfortunate part is you can't tell at the beginning. They come out yellow or red or maroon or combo, and you really can't tell what they're going to be. You can get an idea, but you're buying designers based on what the parents look like, unless you want to hold out until they're a year or so old.
And the
and
hype.
pay the big dog money.
And the hype.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like you're paying a designer price based off the breeder.
Yeah.
Which you kind of have to do to get in.
Yep.
But there's still locality shit out there, man. Like think about Timors are Timors, right?
Absolutely.
But if enough people worked with Timors, there could be those goddamn Xantics. Like there could be more than what we're expecting.
Right.
And the ball python game is the most advanced ball python species game out there. Like meaning morphs are endless, right?
Absolutely.
But that, like, think of the future of the other python species. And we're talking python species that need a lot more than a rack, man.
Absolutely.
Like if you want to eliminate yourself from being a rack keeper, which, like I said, if I keep ball pythons, rack is the best situation for me. I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm keeping my ball pythons in racks. They shed perfect. They look good. Put a lace monitor in there. Not the case.
Done.
Put a mainland retic. Not the case. Put a diamond python. Not the case. I mean, you might look good, but it ain't gonna work. You got to think bigger.
Yep.
And I just think this goddamn African ball python is so indestructible, bro. And that's the problem. People think like, well, look what this thing could put up with. That doesn't mean everything else could go through it.
Right.
You got to adjust.
Absolutely.
So that's just like, I try not to go too hard on the motherfuckers out there who are just fully in ball pythons. But if you really love reptiles, you really keep more than ball pythons, I think.
Absolutely.
I feel like, and mark my words, if you really love reptiles, at some point in your career, no matter what the money brings, you would dabble into something else.
Absolutely.
Because there's no way a ball python is going to fulfill the full reptile need.
Right.
It wants nothing to do with you.
No.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It wants a dark, confined space and wants to be left alone.
Absolutely.
That's the facts, Chad.
Right. A ball python, just like a corn snake, should be a gateway species. It should bring you from your fear of snakes into your love of snakes, and then
into the real thing that matters.
And then branch out almost immediately.
Right.
You know, branch out.
Right.
There are tons and tons and tons of species.
Because if not, you're part of the commercial game plan, man.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be a big, no, I'm sorry, not even. You're going to be a tiny fucking fish in a major pond, and you're only as good as who you support.
Absolutely.
So meaning the only way you become relevant new in a ball python game is if you fucking suck dick to the biggest ball python breeder in the game. And I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm good.
I hear you.
I'm good, bro.
I hear you.
Hey, listen, suck my dick because what I keep.
Right.
Not because of my fucking investment on a ball python. Are you kidding me?
Absolutely.
Chad, I gotta say, this is gonna be one of many episodes. What do you have to say, all your supporters out there, man? Like, first and foremost, I've got messages from people who've also asked you to come on podcasts. Apparently, you never messaged them back, but you got people out there who are excited for this episode. And I gotta tell you, Chad confirmed he's coming on here again. But what do you have to say, all your supporters out there, bro?
I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I've been doing this since 1998, so 25 years, and I've had thousands and thousands of customers, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I definitely appreciate all my repeat customers and people that still reach out to me all these years. Just tell me about the things they've got from me, the successes they've had.
Drop a comment.
I appreciate all of you all.
And then anyone who wants to be on top of what you have going on, production-wise, snake-wise, drop your plugs right now. How can people find out?
Facebook and Instagram, Chad Grey Reptiles.
Okay. Chad, thank you so much, man.
Yes,
I appreciate it so much. Guys, if you are at Tinley Park this weekend, go by and see Chad Grey from Chad Grey Reptiles. And it's a wrap for his first episode live from Tinley Park.
Yes, thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you
Appreciate
so much,
it, man.
Chad.
Please buy my
Ladies and
snakes
gentlemen.
because I'm too ugly for OnlyFans.
All right. Thank you so much. Sheila and Garrett, step up. Let's go. We're ending this in style. Wisconsin, where you at? Let's go.
We are right here. Forever and ever.
Sheila, don't show me that depressing. Oh my God. So for anyone who doesn't remember Sheila's epic, iconic Tinley fucking episode that she had here with us, after the episode, after we're all drinking, having a good time, she shows me a picture of one of her dogs, which was my Bobo's, my king, but my king that died, passed away. You guys remember looking at this emotionally and I cried? Was that on purpose?
I've got a picture of that.
Don't show that, please. People will pay for that. Guys, Tinley Park veterans right here in front of me and ball python veterans. How do you guys feel about this weekend?
I'm just tired.
I feel good.
Okay.
Garrick likes this.
feeling
This
good.
is Garrick's favorite time of the year.
Garrick's in his element. This is Garrick's mode.
Oh,
But
I
this is your mode too.
Is it?
I don't know. You feel like you're tired. You had a lot of snow?
Yes.
So you know what?
You know what? I'm going to tell you my qualm with Tinley. ruined my spring break because we could not go on spring break to somewhere warm because we had to go to Tinley. So now that was the sucky ass part of this whole shit. So that's why I'm sour about Tinley because it ruined my spring break. Ask Garrett.
Garrett, what do you have to say to that?
Well,
True story. That's
I
what he
love
has to
Tinley,
say.
and I will be at every one. I have been at every single Tinley since it started, and I will continue to be. And luckily, next year, spring break for our kids is the week after, so everything's all good.
So hold on, parents. Let's figure this out. What do we try to plan? Taking the whole family in July for Trap Fest, which is during a big reptile show that you guys don't need a Vend. Just come hang out. We go to Disneyland, like San Diego beaches.
Only if you take me to Laguna Beach so I can see where the hills was and the, all those MTV shows.
Really, bro? You're going with Lily. You and Lily could go do that. That's her thing. You want to go to Vanderpump too?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sure she does.
Hey, Garrett.
I want to go to Laguna Beach and see where they hung out. On the hills. Do you remember the hills? That was
Yes,
that.
the real OC. The real OC.
I didn't watch that show. I'm watching the hills in Laguna Beach with Lauren Conrad. You know,
You have too
that
much
role.
time on your hands.
Huh?
Too much time on your hands.
That's because I hurt my knee.
I think that's because Garrett's killing it in the game. Which
Yeah.
I got to ask you, Garrett.
I'm trying to.
Will you take me there though? Seriously?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I will tell you right now, yes.
When is Trap Fest? So I can see
July 6th.
Oh,
Is that bad?
shoot. I scheduled my daughter's senior pictures on July 6th.
Which you can take him to San Diego on the beach. I'll take him for it.
Really?
Yeah, I got
We'll
cameras.
figure out all that
We'll
stuff
figure
later.
it out.
Yeah, day by day.
Anyway.
But I listen, before we end tonight's episode, Garrett, I got to say, out of all the people who pump out the amount of ball pythons that you do, what is your explanation about the quote-unquote recession? Are you guys hurting? What's going on with your snake sales? For anyone out there wondering, how are you going through this era right now? What's going on with you guys?
Well, I mean, sales are a little slower now than they were. Obviously, during COVID, that was very inflated. We sold incredible amount of snakes in 2020 and 2021, best years I've ever had. But overall, I mean, it's a little slower than it has been, but it's still fine. I mean, people are still buying. I don't know. We're doing fine.
What's the advice out there for anyone panicking? Like, because Garrett, Garrett, I gotta say, you're a veteran. You've been through the ups and downs. You get it. But there's a lot of people who just happen to came in during the big wave, and they're shocked. They're like, "What's happening?" So, what's your recommendation for people holding it down out there?
Just keep steady. Just right now is a great time to invest for sure into new morphs and new genes that you don't already have. But I think, I've been around, I've been breeding ball pythons for 23 years now, and I've seen a lot of ups and downs, and this is probably one of the worst downs that I've seen overall, but I'm not panicking. I mean, this is,
It's kind of like the economy. It goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down.
COVID brought us really up.
It brought us up to highs that we haven't seen in many, many years.
Right.
But, then it had a, change and go down. And, I think the people that are prepared for it and just can ride it out, it'll eventually balance itself out. I mean, like I said, we've been through many ups and downs over the years, and it'll be fine. Overall, sales are decent, but just not as good as what we've been spoiled to for the last couple of years.
So, couple wrap-up question for anybody out there who has a spouse riding, meaning guys, my wife, she banked on me, man. Like, my wife understands why I leave and do what I do, right? But there's some people out there, it's a lot harder for some other people. Sheila, you're a diehard Derek DeMeyer fan, like you are Derek, right? How can you tell the spouse out there who's questioning the other to be in reptiles and they just don't know? What would be your advice?
Okay, so when we first started dating and marriage, I would want to go with them to all of them, and now I try to weasel my way out of going, and he does not let me weasel my way out. I said, can you just go and do it by, oh no, I need you to come with me. Seriously, I would be okay. So just let him go and do that stuff, because if you have to go to every single Tinley every single time, it might be a lot, and it'd be okay for your husband to go, right?
And Garrett, what would be the number one thing for a husband or wife to make this mindset be peaceful? Like what do you do to make sure your wife knows that you're doing business and nothing else? I mean, it gets kind of freaky out here, buddy.
I know he's doing business.
I just say eventually I'll be successful.
Yeah.
Just have faith.
No,
in
you
me.
are successful,
I'll be good
buddy.
at this someday.
No, listen, this is an honor.
I know. He's like what he
Like,
does.
you understand this? Having you guys sitting here was not the scheduled part of it, but it is. You being here matters to me. You guys are important. Sheila, yeah, stop it. Yes. Give me a hug. I love you guys, man. Thank you so much.
Well, I love you too.
We're going to end it. Thank you so much.
Okay, goodbye,
Garrett.
people.
Thank you.
All right.
See you again.
Guys, the Myers.
We'll see you again this weekend at some point.
Gotta love it, man. Wisconsin's finest, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Dave. No. Sit down. We're wrapping it up, buddy.
Should we put a plug-in for our basket
Yeah,
for
go.
MARBC?
Go.
So
Plug-in.
okay, so we are going to have in the NARBC the
Auction.
We put in some Wisconsin cheese curds,
Are
spotted
they
cow
sneaky?
beer. Yes, I just bought them from Mullins, locally sourced from our hometown.
The real deal.
It's the real deal, man.
Real Wisconsin beer.
Oh, with spotted cow only combined Wisconsin, a drink Wisconsinably pint glass.
Have you had the spotted cow barbecue sauce yet?
No, I don't have that yet. I didn't bring
it's
that.
actually really good.
And a T-shirt from Royal Constrictor Designs. Seriously, the bomb.
Go bid on that shit.
Hey,
Yeah, go
Garrett,
bid on that
you
shit.
did well with this dime piece, buddy. Congratulations. Man. Give me a hug, Sheila. Thank you so much.
Thanks for
All
having
right,
me.
guys. Woo. Dave Levison's back. Holy shit, man.
Really done?
I mean, what do you want to do? Who else?
I want to talk to people, man.
Who are we?
I
Dave,
haven't been walking around talking to people
Dave,
on my
listen,
own.
as you know, we only live once, buddy.
okay
So
with it?
who do you want to bring on next?
Well, can we talk to Jeff a little bit more?
No, we had Jeff on. No,
Jeff
no.
didn't get to say shit.
'Cause I want an episode with Jeff. No, I want an episode
Well,
with Jeff.
this is giving people a taste.
Jeff, come on.
Just a bigger taste,
All right,
buddy.
I'm going to take a piss. This is
Yeah,
all
take
Jeff
a
and Dave
piss.
right now.
But come back. 'cause
Come
I
on,
want you
Jeff.
to learn a little bit about Jeff.
I heard a lot.
If I sit in the middle, is it mine?
Yeah, just whatever makes you happy, buddy. So, I guess it's just me and you.
All
I
right.
want to hear a little bit about your resume because you actually have a really awesome resume in the hobby. You've been all over the place.
Oh,
Count
geez. I worked in a pet store for 3.5 years when I was in middle school with a work permit from my middle school, like in 92. See, then I worked at Tim Tidal Lizards for 3 years. Lots of geckos, Phelsuma, terrestrial stuff, Nephurus, a lot of eublephrids. Then didn't work for any breeders for a while. I worked at the pawn shop, which was at the time ran by Mike Wilbanks, and there's the snakes were in the back. Started doing that.
Interesting.
Back when he had like 50 ball pythons.
Yeah.
That's it.
I didn't know you guys
And
got together. So that's awesome.
I've known Mike and worked for him a good bit of time, like over the course of like 20 years.
Yeah.
We had some of the first Jampias that were from Al and Cindy Baldogo. He made the first Super Jamps, which were Super Dwarf Jampia crosses. We had genetic stripes. We had dwarf albinos, all kinds of stuff. Like way back, like before Anery, before a lot of retic genetics were really prevalent. I remember when he got his first pied. That was crazy.
Oh, the Pyretics?
Well, that too.
And those other ones?
I remember Mike Wilbanks' first pied ball python.
Okay.
That's dating the timeline right there.
Directly from Pete?
I think he bought it from Justin because he told me, and this just clicked like the other day because another podcaster said something about the kid walking around Daytona with the backpack. That was always Justin, right?
Yeah.
Mike told me when he got back from Daytona, and I said, "Oh, did you get it from Pete?" And he's like, "No, this kid walking around with a backpack." And I'm like, "I wonder if it was Kabilka."
Yeah, right?
Maybe it was. I don't know.
Might have been. Yeah. I like the progression of like people coming up. Like you talking about working in a pet store, graduated on to what was the lizard place you worked at?
Tim Tidal Lizards.
Okay, and then working with Mike. You worked with Bob Clark for a while.
Worked for Bob for 7 years. I ended that part of my reptile career as the manager. Once he was moved into the new facility, there for a few years. I've worked with a silly number of retics, Burmese, rock pythons. He had Cuban boas, rainbow boas, all kinds of stuff. We bred jungle carpets, green tree pythons, blood pythons, all kinds of stuff.
What was the most challenging species you worked with so far to get going, to get breeding, everything?
The most challenging and heartbreaking was probably Bowens, because we weren't equipped to deal with them. I mentioned that earlier in the podcast when Chad was on, but I wish we had gone into it with more information. And like Ari Flegel was just starting to do some of his work with them, so a lot of keepers didn't know a lot about them. And I think we could have done better with them if we had done more for them. We kept them just like, a retic or a berm, and they'll be okay with that, but not on the long term. Yeah. And they fail. They don't like to be as hot. They don't like a lot of things the same. They seem like they're okay, and then they're not.
So 2 parts to that. What year did you guys do this?
God.
About.
Let's see. My kid was born in 06, so I have to timeline everything in my head. So 08 maybe?
08? Okay.
09?
And like you said, there was no information back there. You got that python in, and you treated it like every other python you have.
Ari was just starting his work on. Yeah.
We're good.
You want your milk?
Ari, what? Ari, what?
Full circle back to Bowens, buddy. It was like as soon as you got back, we got back to Bowens.
I was just saying that in the time period, like I was telling you earlier, with the Bowens pythons that Bob had, Ari was just starting to do his research with them and starting all of his stuff for the book.
Chad Gray's giving me some horchata. Fucking moonshine.
Oh, it's moonshine.
Go. Oh my God, why does it taste so good?
Because it's moonshine.
Oh my God, taste this. It's really good. It's like a dessert. Jason, what's up, Jason? Sit down, buddy. Come on.
It's like a little banana chaser at the end there. Is that banana bread?
I think so. Here we go. Look, good old smoky moonshine.
Look at that palate. I know what a banana tastes like.
Wife, if I black out, it's Steve Doss's fault, not mine. Jason, what's good, buddy? Abe's Exotics in the building. How you living?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
Life is good. Just chilling. Just walking through the lobby. I see you over here doing a thing,
Yeah.
You.
Just right here having a good time. While you have multiple conversations going on at once. I think it's a mess. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but I do gotta say, what do you feel about this weekend? Just so much multiple things going on. It's a mess right now.
What's a mess?
We're gonna end it soon. Don't worry.
Oh, you hate this?
Yeah,
because you're too OCD. Is it OCD?
The views hate it. Is what I'm saying. We dropped.
How
about
bad's the
30.
viewership?
We dropped about half.
Like when I walked away?
I don't know, but we're gonna wrap it up.
When we got rid of that Irish guy?
We're gonna wrap it up. So check it out.
Damn.
Abe Exotics.
Damn.
Overall,
Oh,
is there a ball python recession based off what you've seen?
I saw a lot of shit moving today. I got to be honest with you. I was pleasantly surprised.
Blackhead clowns being dropped in half prices, meaning they're $1,500 on the table.
Who had that?
A lot. Justin Gabelka.
I'm just kidding. I know. I've seen them.
Okay,
but
Dave. I mean, price slashes. Dude, why did we deal with that?
Well, do you ever wonder if maybe the price was too high in the first place?
Yes.
do you wonder if the prices went crazy during COVID because of the money coming into the system from the government and from everybody sitting at home wanting to get into animals? Yeah.
Give dumb people money, we buy snakes.
You know it. You know it.
It's coming back down to where it was pre-COVID because the prices weren't great, and then we had no animals to supply people during COVID. Everybody's got the government money, so all the demand went up. You know, the price of bells went up, the price of albinos went up, old genes went up. But now we're out of all that money, and people are, pretty much everybody's getting back to work these days, and money's tighter, inflation's going up.
We're in a realistic spot now.
Yeah,
I think so too.
We are
Like,
back to where we were.
I
about
agree.
3 years ago.
I'm with you. I agree. Like, I wouldn't say it's a recession. As far as ball pythons, yeah, things might be a little harder to move right now. But overall, I still see animals moving. I see the number of ball pythons in general on MORPH Market dropping, which is good. There was 50,000 ball pythons on MORPH Market very recently. Now there's like 42. That's a huge ass difference. 8,000. I mean, it's chipping away at it, right?
But give the people hope, Jason. Like you're You're somebody who I'm proud to say who has freshly been in the game, but holding it down. You stick to what you love.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to anyone out there who is probably been in the game just as long as you, but they're confused? They're not happy with their shit.
Not happy with their shit?
I mean, they're not selling. Like, it's not selling. Like, that's what they're not happy with. JP, God bless JP Reptiles.
Yeah.
But he's like, the worst thing that ever happened to him was pied. He said, dude, the worst thing that ever happened to JP was pied. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. No, I know what you're saying, but I guess to answer your question, yeah, man, prices are cut right now. But I think they're coming down to the realistic price where they were.
We have a JK, we have a Canova wannabe right now.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Here we go. Sit down, Shelby. All right, Jason, you're out, buddy. Sit on this guy's car.
No, I won't go. Good seeing you, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
Sit down. I introduced to you a ball python breeder who owns a Learjet. Sit down right now. Hey, Shelby, seriously, sit down. I want to talk to you. Dog, what is good? How are you? I'm good. We're live right now on YouTube. Good. Many people want to know out there exactly. Guys, there's a lot going on right now. Please. Ball python price slashes. Okay? How do you delegate? Somebody like you who's very relevant in the higher end version of ball pythons, how do you take having prices being slashed on you?
I think you advertise animals that are a fair value of something that you would invest in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'd spend $3,000 for that. I feel comfortable with that. Then that's what you'd want to price it at.
I mean, he's actually really right, and that's actually a really good way of saying it.
Show me smart.
Yeah, here's the thing.
There's
different tiers of buyers too.
There is 100%.
Not everybody's a 10,000 tier. Not everybody's a 5. We wait for that moment to get to where you can afford to buy in. So where price slashes kind of suck when you were like, oh man, I was just selling it for $3,000. Well, now your buying pool doubles, triples, or quadruples when it gets to the $1,500. So honestly, it shouldn't be that much more work to sell that animal. Your sales are about as consistent because you're dropping a price based on your demand. Everything is supply and demand in this industry. Why are Bowens $10,000? High demand, no supply whatsoever.
And just because you see a certain price on an animal doesn't mean you have to price it at that. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got somewhat of their own value in something, right? To where it's like you said, you know, I mean, you price it in that tier, and
nobody has ever bought an animal, raised it up, and assumed they were going to sell it for the same price that baby was, unless we're talking rare species, different localities. When it comes to mutations, a mutation is going to dip and go up. How about this? I always talk about it. What year do you think the first clown desert ghost was made?
93.
Almost.
92.
That's when Vanessa was born, so I just thought I'd shoot for it.
2007.
I was going to say mid-2000s. Yeah, 05, 06.
I was
Yeah.
born in 94, if it makes you feel any better.
By the way, this isn't Valerie Castillo. This is Vanessa. She has improved her whole lifestyle because of USART.
100%.
She's always been great, though.
She's always been great, but now she's like too hot. Well, she'll fuck you up, bro.
She'll fuck you up for sure.
Not me. I'm on her side.
No, not always.
No, guess what? She gets married. I'm invited, just like yours.
She's in it, though. You're not.
Wow, that's fucked up.
He's always invited. He's my bro.
Megan, you made me so mad right now.
So is Dave.
Hey, but listen, I have a serious question for this guy because I asked Garrick DeMeyer. Somebody, I feel like this question relates so much to Garrick DeMeyer because somebody who pumps out over 200 ball python clutches a year, there's got to be something that he just does for himself. And what I got to ask you, Shelby, how do you not be a part of the rat race? What has Shelby done to make sure that you're doing what Shelby does and you don't feel like you're behind? Because Shelby, you're not, buddy. Like you are very tapped into your own shit. But it's, I don't know, man. Like I said, when you go, if whoever gets lucky enough to see my new snake room, the whole incubator divided in the middle came from him. Dude, you gave me the layout idea, but you also like get ideas from other people. Right?
I do.
Yeah, I try. But you're not copycat either. Like you like separate.
I do I think probably the biggest thing that I've done is learn off of others at the same time.
And keep quiet and just learn.
Yeah, and just focus on yourself. You know what I mean? Like I just stay on my own road. You know, I mean, like I learn and pick up pigments along the way, and I just keep staying on track.
Is that William?
William Phillips.
Oh my God. Okay. And
So-
this is not to be a discourse, but I gotta tell you right now,
But he
man.
loves
Like
Jeff.
you gotta understand why I'm so happy to be in the ball python games because I got friends like Shelby. He ain't a part of the rat race. He is the race. My boy Shelby.
Hey,
Merch on Morse, ladies and gentlemen.
William's coming back. He's gonna grab a shot.
What? Okay.
He'll be right back.
Vanessa, sit down.
hold on.
I'm on the other side.
Let me out.
You're good. Love you. Come on, Vanessa. Let's go. Actually, I got some things I want to talk to Vanessa about. You're right there on this mic. Right here.
I'm using
Hey.
the mic. Okay.
Any new keeper out there who watches this podcast and understands that there is a U.S. ARC, but why should they support U.S. ARC? What is it about U.S. ARC is why you should support it if you keep reptiles?
Without US ARC, we would not have reptiles. Literally, we fight for your rights to keep reptiles in your home. So without US ARC, we won't have them.
You own a pet shop out of Arizona, which, by the way, because of certain people I introduced you to at Arlington, they are so shocked to love you. Like you're a force to be reckoned with, man. And I got to tell you, Vanessa, I have not had you on this show personally one-on-one, which is a long overdue thing. But
Yes, it is.
for somebody in a power as a female, I got to say I love everything that you do because every time I see you, you're a better version of yourself. Like
100%.
what's happening? Like what's the influence on wanting to become better versions of yourself?
I am finally free, and I'm able to be me.
So you're happy.
Absolutely, 100% happy.
And do you feel like that's when people kind of start focusing on themselves when they're happy?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You've come a long ways, man.
100% a long ways.
At the end of the day,
You've seen my journey.
oh my God, I know your journey.
My journey is not one that I want to share, but
It's inspiring. It is, because understand how many people go through human type lifestyle shit, right? But being a female is not easy, man. It's actually hard. Even though a dog could be a dog, females, it's a little different.
it's a little different.
You got to be more sensitive towards it because it's not really fair because you guys are vulnerable. I mean, it's very true.
We are
Yeah.
vulnerable, but the thing is that I love what I do every single day. And it's not that I'm just a female in this hobby. It's that I love what I do every single day.
And I got to tell you what, man, what makes me want to come to a show like this is when I see Vanessa, we hug, we say hi, and that's because I come to shows. Vanessa, I preach every fucking time to any newbie. Like I'm talking about 3 years or less. You ain't gonna be shit unless you come to these shows.
100%.
You have to show your face.
Come to the shows.
If Vanessa don't know you, you're not known. I'm dead serious. It's about the U.S. ARC auctions, right?
US ARC auctions are epic. We appreciate all the donations that we receive, everybody that comes to the shows, because without all of you, we would not have US ARC.
Last question for you, and this is going to be the one of many questions to ask Vanessa on the one-on-one, but do you support this channel and why?
100% I support this channel. I have known MJ for a very long time. He has invited me to his personal parties at his house as security.
And she
right,
killed it, bro.
Antoine.
The lanyards,
You
everything
got
came from
this.
her, man. I'm telling you right now, don't play.
Don't play, but MJ's my boy.
Honestly, man, like this is all family. Like everything that we have is a family type
It
deal.
is a family.
And it could be gone tomorrow, man.
It could be. And
Yeah.
I sat in his room, in his chair, and I was like,
I got tag marks from Megan
Yeah,
and
from
Vanessa
Megan.
on my board. But sign off real quick. Megan, what do you have to say to your fans out there? Everyone who fucks with you. All the female power. We need more female keepers. What do you have to say to all the female keepers out there?
Keep doing what you're doing.
What if your husband has a little tiny weenie and they're like, no, you can't keep an anaconda. Who do you think you are? Megaconda? What do you have to say?
Do it anyways. I mean, what the?
Just keep stretching.
Oh my God.
Go from a ball python to a retic. That's all
Oh
I gotta say.
my God. Listen, guys, thank you so much for tapping in tonight. This was episode 320. I'm closing with two lovely ladies, two of my most favorite girls in the reptile industry, Megaconda and Vanessa of US ARC. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you tomorrow for our episode with Chad Brown of Ship Your Reptiles.